Hi, it's Sunday, May 9th. So I just wanted to make a little video of some thoughts I had. So first of all, I've had some people asking me some questions about like my progress and when I'm gonna be like rescanned and everything, and like, just when my counts are up and down and stuff like that. So I was wondering this the other day. I went through chemo Wednesday, Thursday, Friday last week, and then like Saturday, Sunday, Monday I was feeling really crappy and just like, fatigued and all that stuff, normal. But I luckily didn't feel any too much nausea or anything like that, maybe a little bit. But Tuesday I started feeling a little better, and then Wednesday, Thursday I just kept, progressively feeling better, and I feel like myself again, but I don't know what my counts are, so I'm nervous to like, go out in public too much, or do anything like that. Like last night I went out to a pizza place, but I sat down outside and I tried to avoid people and everything, and I still can't really walk that much, so I try to just keep it simple, but you can imagine that I'm going a little stir crazy just sitting at home all the time when I'm used to going out and doing things. So but luckily I've had a lot of company and a lot of people coming and visiting me and contacting me, and that's been just wonderful. And I've been trying to keep myself busy with reading the Bible and studying that, and then just playing guitar and little things, and watching a bunch of Netflix. So but anyway, I was thinking that like, I got that shot in my arm, so I think it like helped reproduce like more blood cells, stimulated bone marrow production, but I don't really know where my numbers are at, and I won't get those rechecked until like my next treatment day. They just recheck the blood then, which will be June 19th, so that's another like 10 more days from now. But I don't know, it'd be nice to know what it is, but I don't know, they say like after each round, you kind of go down more and more, so I'm feeling good now, but it might knock me back down later, just because like I was like fully healthy before, and then now each time I go back, like your body has to try to reproduce like the bone marrow, and the stem cells have to mature and everything, and that takes like a 21 to 28 day cycle. So even though I feel good now, I probably still have a low count, so I've been trying to just stay away from people, but it's really hard to do. But as far as like fatigue and nausea, I feel none of that, which is wonderful. But again, like, I have so many more rounds of treatment to do, so we'll just see how it goes. And like, I could barely get up without being out of breath for the like first couple days afterwards. I just, I needed somebody to like make me food. I needed somebody to help me with things, and especially with my leg not being able to walk, it's like, I'm just so thankful and grateful for everybody who's like come and visited and helped out, and everything, helped with my dogs and helped clean and do my laundry, and just means the world to me, because it kills me when I can't vacuum and and clean, and it just like drives me crazy. So I'm so glad like other people are coming over, like family and friends. It's just great. So that's been good. So I'll just keep posting updates on how I'm doing and how I'm feeling and everything. But I don't know, I just kind of wanted to talk about, like, I was talking to the doctor. They called me back. Well, the physician's assistant called me back from the surgery team, and I have two teams. I have like my orthopedic oncologist, orthopedic surgeon, so he, Dr. Wertz, and then the physician's assistant, Andrea, like they are the surgery team. They do the sarcoma like removal process of like any of the tumors and everything, and they would be the ones who would be removing the tumor from my leg and like doing my bone reconstruction. And then I also have my oncology team, which is Dr. Grethline, and then so there's a couple different teams at work, and so it's just kind of like And then there's me going back and forth with them, and I feel like I'm kind of part of the team since I'm a nurse and everything, so just being an advocate for myself. And so that's just an interesting experience to be an advocate for yourself as a patient. I don't know. But anyway, it's been difficult because, surgery versus medical are two different, like, they work together, but they're two different vehicles of how to treat and do things. So it's just interesting. But I was wondering about, like, when I'm getting my accounts rechecked, when am I going to get rescanned again, how will I know when I'm going to respond to this chemo, I want to know, like, is this chemo, like, going to kill all the little tiny mets that are everywhere else? And I think part of it has to do with insurance, of course, and I just have to get a couple rounds. So I'm hoping, like, maybe after, like, the third or fourth round or something, I'll get rescanned again, but it's hard to really tell. And then, like, so I talked to the surgery team, and she said that, like, they wouldn't rescan again unless, like, right before surgery, which originally the plan was to do 3 rounds of chemo, and then surgery to remove this tumor, and then more rounds of chemo after that. So that was the original plan, but since there has already been some metastasis to my pelvis, and then also, like, my lymph node in my left groin is, like, lit up on the MRI too, so they want to do a biopsy of that, like a fine needle aspiration biopsy of that to make sure that it's not, like, something else, which, I mean, I don't know why it would be. I'm hoping not, but I'm pretty sure it's probably has to do with the same thing or whatever, but I guess they want to do another biopsy just of that, just to double check and make sure, for whatever. So so that kind of sucks that I'd have to get another biopsy, but I mean, it is what it is. But I'm really hoping I'm gonna have a good response to chemo, and I don't really know that much about all this stuff since I'm a cardiac nurse for pediatrics, so I need to do a lot more research and educate myself, and I'll probably do that this week since I have nothing to do this week and I feel better. So I'm going to do a lot of that education and research for myself and just come prepared to my next doctor's appointment. But when I talked to the surgery team, she basically was saying, like, since I already have meds, then it wouldn't do anything or wouldn't make a difference to remove the tumor from my leg, which I guess to me that doesn't really make any sense, but it kind of does, because the reason why I think she said that is because it basically, like, they have to remove the tumor from my femur bone. Like, they'll have to take, like, an actual, like, section out of my femur and, like, part of the muscle as well, because it, like, started in my femur, and then went out into the tissue. So, like, you can kind of see here, like, on my leg. So this is about where it is on my leg here, and then that's where it started, like, in my femur bone, and the tumor's about like that. So I can still feel it and stuff. So I don't know. I feel like the bump goes up and down some days. It's just weird. But anyway, I've been feeling better walking and everything. But back to what I was saying, like, they'll have to do, like, an extensive, like, reconstructive surgery of my leg and put, like, a metal rod in there. And they've done it before and they know what they're doing, but it's just a very complicated, like, long process. So I think the time that it's going to take for me to recover from that is, like, probably too long for me to go with out getting chemo. So I basically am going to have to just keep getting chemo for now. But I keep praying and hoping, and I just really believe that this treatment's going to work and I'm going to respond well. I mean, I feel like I'm in the best, I've been in the best shape of my life as far as, like, my immunity goes. I mean, before all this happened, I hadn't been sick for 2 years, or I hadn't even had a cold at all. Like, so, and I, eat healthy and exercise and stuff. So think that's a plus. So I was already trying to eat healthy and do all that before, so I think that helps. But anyway, they had talked about putting in a metal rod in my leg and just basically putting it like through the tumor to support my femur, so that I could walk and stuff again, because I'm supposed to be using my crutches, which around my house. I was using my crutches, but like the past week I haven't, because I've been feeling better and I don't really walk that much anyway, so it's just kind of like walk to the bathroom and to the kitchen and back. But so I've been doing a little better with that, and I'll use them when I need to, but I don't really. I'm doing a lot of sitting, which is not normal for me. But I don't know, it's a lot to think about. But I'm confident. I'm just so confident. I have so much faith that God is gonna heal me, and there's I really do believe in the power of prayer and miracles. And I was feeling discouraged after that conversation with the physician's assistant about, like, we're just gonna do chemo and not remove the tumor. It was kind of like, okay, what's the plan? So basically, I was just trying to look for answers and see, like, when's my counts gonna come up? When can I go back in public? When am I gonna get rescanned? How are we gonna know all this stuff? I just wanted answers right then, and I feel like she gave me some answers, but not really, because anytime you deal with anything like this in medicine, it's really, there's research and stuff out there that says what works and what doesn't, but what I have is so rare, and there's only 6 cases out there apparently in the literature. I still need to look at those, but you base your evidence on what's been done before and what's worked and what hasn't, and this hasn't been something that's been apparent or happened to a lot of different people, whereas like other cancers like lymphoma and breast cancer and stuff, those are more common. So there's a lot more research and stuff that's out there because more people have had that. So they have a lot more new drugs and stuff. But I'm hoping that I can get onto a clinical trial. I'm in a research study that I signed up for, and then I'm also involved in precision genomics. So they're gonna send my samples and my DNA off to them and see if there's some kind of treatment that can specifically target my tumor, so that I can, based on my DNA, I don't know, I feel like I'm in a sci-fi movie sometimes. Like, what is this? So it's pretty intense and scientific, and I just, sometimes I feel like some things are like over my head, and I wish I was a little smarter, but it makes me hopeful that they will find something. And they even said if they don't find anything now, then maybe something in the future will come up. But I'm just praying that we'll get something done. And but after that, I was talking to her, and I was just like kind of discouraged, because it was just like, all right, well, we don't really know any answers. We have this loose plan of like what we're gonna do, but we don't have set concrete answers, which is frustrating. But I feel like that's just how things are. And being a healthcare worker and working in the hospital, I know how that is, and it's very frustrating. But you just have to be patient and have faith. And I listened to a sermon from Traders Point Christian Church that day after I found that information out, because it was just really upsetting, and I just was like, it was overloading information. And the sermon that I listened to was just talked about, like, we want answers from God, and we ask him questions, and sometimes we even like say things under a condition, like, hey, I want you to give me this promotion, or I'll do this if you give me this promotion, or whatever, and I think a lot of people do that, but you have to just be able to trust him and just say. And I find myself doing that more and more. Even before all of this, I'd say, like, praying about school, going back to school, or, my job, or moving, or, I was considering doing some stuff, and I wasn't really sure what direction to go, and I kind of was praying to God and just saying, like, do what you need to do for me, and put me where you want me to do it. I trust you. But it's like, I'm like, what is this? All this stuff's happened, and I'm like, what does this all mean? But is he's saying, like, in Proverbs 16:25, it says, there's a path before each person that seems right, but ends in death. So you think you're going on the right path in life, but in reality you're not. And but then in Proverbs 16:1-9, the first part says, we can make our paths, but the Lord determines our steps. So I think that's always just really important to remember, that God has a plan for us, and that he's always with us every step of the way, no matter what it is. So if you think you're going on the right path and then something happens to take you off the path, and it's just like, why did this happen to me? Like, I was doing all these things, and the pastor told this story about how he, like, his first tithe that he gave, like, he gave his first offering to the church, and then right after that, like, his car broke down. So he was like, it's like, what the heck? Like, I just gave money to the church now, and now my car broke down. Like, that shouldn't happen. But I think there's always a lesson in everything, and you just need to trust God and just follow his path. And then it also says, commit to the Lord and he will establish your plans, and just unconditionally trust him with everything. So that's all about, having faith and putting your trust in him. And I really do put my trust in him. And I don't know, I think that message just really spoke to me, because it was like basically answering all my questions in that day, and in that moment it was just like, I just felt like I wanted all these answers, and I was just searching for them, and I didn't really get any concrete answers at all from after talking to the doctor, and it just made me feel really upset, and that's all it did. And it was just like, I just have to let go and let God, like, they say that, let go and let God, because you just have to do that in some situations. You just have to put your trust in him and have faith. Trying to find, and then I listened to another sermon this morning, and she talked, it was a different church, the one my sister goes to in Albuquerque, called the Copper Point Christian Church, and I watched it online today, and the pastor talked about 2 Corinthians, which I love the book, 1st and 2 Corinthians. They're two of my favorite, among some of my favorite books in the Bible. And she basically was talking about like your purpose in life and your ministry through Jesus. And you have your life here on earth, but really, like, the true life that you're working towards is eternal life in heaven. And even though there's all these things that we worry about all the time here, like, your job, your family, your promotion, your retirement, whatever, you focus so much time and energy into doing all these things in this world, but really you should be focusing your time and energy into God, and praising him, and being a minister in your life. So I think part of the reason sometimes some of this stuff's happening to me is just because I have been, like, being more spiritual and reading the Bible a lot, and I just have all these thoughts and ideas on what the Bible says, and I feel like it's just, the words have just been speaking to me more, and just definitely jumping out at me. And one of the quotes that she said in her sermon, which I have actually quoted before, I remember quoting this quote on my Facebook, and I looked back, and it was on, like, March 10th. So I posted about seeing a bunch of cardinals, and I saw about 20 cardinals in a tree, and that was just, like, red cardinals. And those always make me think of my dad. And so it was like, it was just crazy. And I quoted 2 Corinthians 4:16-18 in that post. And this is something that I think has been resonating with me lately. And it just says, therefore, we do not lose heart. Though outwardly we are wasting away, yet inwardly we are being renewed day by day. For our light and monetary troubles are achieving for us an eternal glory that far outweighs them all. So we fix our eyes not on what is seen, but on what is unseen, since what is seen is temporary, but what is unseen is eternal. So I just thought that was just, like, spoke volumes, to me, as far as like everything that's been going on with me. And we're all, wasting away like every day. They say, you're growing older and life just is, going by. But the older you get, then the more spiritual, and at least for me, like the more I study the Bible and get more spiritual, then the stronger you get. Your spirit gets stronger, and your faith in God gets stronger. So, I think that's just something to remember and think about. I just think the whole book of 2 Corinthians is great if you have a chance to read it. And then another part that I thought was really good was 2 Corinthians 5:15, and it just said that for Christ's love compels us, because we are convinced that one died for all, and therefore all died. And he died for all, that those who live shall no longer live for themselves, but for him who died for them and was raised again. So, that's what it talks about when you're living for Jesus and Christ, and you just have to realize that Jesus' sacrifice, it was he died, he atoned all of our sins for us, and we just that's why, like, they always say you're suffering as a Christian, because you just Christians get a bad rap for things, I think, sometimes. So you just have to be confident in your faith and trust that things will be okay. But there's a lot more that I want to talk about, but I feel like I've been talking about this for a long time. But that was just a couple little blurbs. And then, but I don't know, it just makes me think about, our life here on earth. And I don't want to, I want to live longer, but, you have your eternal glory in heaven. So, but I just encourage everybody to, study the Bible more, and it'll strengthen your faith. And if anybody's going through any struggles or having any problems with anything, it's good to look through the Bible and find, because you'll find the answers that you're looking for. It might not be obvious at first, but it always, I said this before, but it just says, like, when you, the closer you become with God, the closer he becomes with you. So it might take a while for your faith to get strengthened, or for you to, have that moment of like, oh, this is what this was talking about. This is what you're talking about. So I don't know. I feel very confident that, God will work miracles. It might take a while, but I guess, even if there isn't a miracle, I mean, I don't even think about that. I don't even think or believe like that this won't, like, I won't be like cured of this. I have so much confidence and faith in God, and I just, I don't know, I just have such a good feeling in my heart deep down. And it's gonna be scary, and I have good days and bad days, but I'm gonna get through it. So thanks everybody for all your love and support. So I hope you guys have a great day, and I will try to keep everyone updated as much as I can. And I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks, bye.